Hello, my perfect angel besties. How are you? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Rachel, and today's video, as you can see by the title, is going to be a book haul. I have not done a proper book haul on my channel since December of 2022, so it's been a minute. I did do a birthday book unboxing in February. I'm not going to be including any of those books in this haul, but of course I have been collecting books since the middle of December when I last did that haul, and I have quite a few to show you today, approximately 80. So this is going to be my biggest book haul that I have ever done on my channel, and I'm super excited. I also have like a little bit of an unboxing to do. I have special edition dust jackets and also special edition fairy loot books that I'm super excited to show you guys. So let's just get straight into it. I'm not going to be giving super detailed descriptions on each of the books, otherwise we would be here for like 17 hours. I'm just kind of going to give you guys like the bullet points of these books, if I've read them and if I liked them and all of that. So without further ado, let's get into it. These are all of the books that I have purchased over the last 6 months. All right, I don't even really know where to begin. This is going to be completely random, but I feel like a good place to start is with the books that I bought in Austin at Book People. When I visited there, I was able to spend time with one of my best friends, Lachlan, at Locke's Library, and we did a little bit of book shopping. It was so much fun. So the two books that I got from that bookstore, Book People, was Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. This is a sapphic romance. I believe it's kind of like enemies to lovers. I read the first book in the series Delilah Green Doesn't Care a few months ago, and I really loved it. It was so much fun, had a nice like small town feel, and I just absolutely loved the writing and the sapphic romance in that one, so I wanted to pick up the next book in the series. So this is one book that I got when I was with Lachlan, and then I also purchased Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. This is the final book in the Green Bone saga. I've only read Jade City, which is the first book, but I absolutely loved it. It was 5 stars. It was one of my best books of 2022, and I'm very excited and very nervous to pick this one up. All right, moving right along, I have The Right Move by Liz Tomford. This book is just so stunning. This is a sports romance, and I believe this is the second book in the Windy City series by Liz Tomford. The first book is Mile High, which I really enjoyed, and I believe that this is like fake dating, forced proximity, best friend's brother. I'm very excited to pick this one up. I've heard nothing but great things. And then I have Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, one of the best books of all time. I'm telling you, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your reading preferences are. I don't care if you're a romance person or a fantasy person or literary fiction. I feel like everyone should read this book, honestly. It's just so freaking good. It's one of those books that I'm just like, I can't understand why someone wouldn't like at least give this book a 4-star. I think it's so amazing. The audiobook in particular is so fantastic. I had such a good time. Rocky is the love of my life, and I would go to battle for him. And I just absolutely loved this so much. Definitely going to be on my best books of the year. And yeah, just makes me very happy. I also have the mass market paperback of Archangel's Kiss by Nalini Singh. This is actually the second book in the Guild Hunters series, which is a kind of like fantasy romance series from the mid 2000s. It follows a guild hunter, and she kind of hunts down like vampires and archangels from what I remember. This is the second book. I haven't picked it up yet, but I did read the first book, Angel's Blood, and I really liked it. It was 4 stars, so I'm excited to pick this one up as well. All right, and then I have Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this book quite a while ago, I want to say in like 2021. I just didn't have a physical edition of it because I got rid of my paperback edition. I own all of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books in hardcover, so I just wanted to get the hardcover edition to have it on my shelf. This is another one of my favorite books of all time. It is my favorite book of Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I just think it's perfection. So had to have it on my shelves. I also have Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion. This is the second book in the Legendborn trilogy. I have not picked this up yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. The first book, Legendborn, was a 4-star for me. It's a YA fantasy series and also a bit of a King Arthur retelling. So really cool kind of historical element involved in the book, and I'm excited to see what I think of the second one. Okay, so then I have Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. This is the UK paperback. I just really prefer the UK editions of his books thus far from the ones that I've read. You will see more of them in this haul, but Warbreaker. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It is so fantastic. It was an immediate 5-star. I had so much fun reading this book. Light Song, once again, I would jump in front of a moving vehicle for Light Song. He is amazing, and this book was just so much fun. I have such fond memories of reading this. I just could not put it down. Definitely a book that I want to reread in the future and just really impacted me. I love this one so much, and I just think this edition is really beautiful. The next book is Sweet Hand by N.G. Peltier. This is kind of like an enemies to lovers romance. It is also set in Trinidad and Tobago, and there's also kind of this like baking element, which I really love. But this book follows 2 characters who have always disliked each other, but they end up being the maid of honor and best man in their mutual friend's wedding, so they obviously have to be around each other and make it work for their friends, and it was a very cute romance. The next book is Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I really need to pick this book up. Every single time I see my mother-in-law, she is like, you need to read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. She says it's absolutely fantastic. I know that a ton of people read this when it came out last year, loved it. I believe it was on quite a few people's best books of the year, so I think that I will love this one. It's one of those books that I'm like nervous to read because I do think I'm really going to love it. I've heard that it's kind of like The Social Network, but with a video games twist. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but that's kind of my understanding. I'm very excited to pick this one up. I just need to do it. All right, the next book is Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. This is a romance. I read it back in February. It's kind of like a second chance romance, I would say. We spend a lot of time with the characters when they first meet, and then kind of towards the latter quarter of the book, we see them in present day trying to make the relationship work. This is emotional, and I do think that these characters are a little bit unlikable. I enjoyed this book, but I gave it like a 3.5 star rating. I did have a few issues with it. It's an interesting romance, I would say. It's probably gonna be like a polarizing one, but I liked the writing. I thought that it was witty and it was an overall good experience. And then 2 books that were gifts from also my friend Lachlan. We love her. So she gifted me Ninth House and then also Jade War, which is the second book in the Greenbone saga. So thank you so much, Lachlan. I really appreciate both of these. I have read Ninth House and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I read it right before Hellbent came out. I feel like I missed the Ninth House train when it first came out, but I read this and really enjoyed it. I think it's such a unique story, and I'm of course very excited to pick this one up very soon as well. All right, next up we have Daisy Hates, The Great Undoing. This is the 4th book in the Magnolia Parks universe series. This is also the 2nd book in Daisy's POV. I really loved this book. I gave it 4 stars. I just absolutely love this entire world that Jessa Hastings has created. These characters mean so much to me. I'm really excited. I believe the next Magnolia Parks book comes out this summer, I want to say, maybe. I know it comes out this year, and I'm just really excited to continue on with it. I just really connected to these characters and this writing style. I think that Jessa is a genius, and I really love this cover in particular. I think it is my favorite. It is so stunning. The next book was also a gift from my lovely friend Nadia at Books and Drafts. She gifted me Angel's Blood, which is the 1st book in the Guild Hunters series, and I believe I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked it. This series was also a big inspiration for Sarah J Maas. It's one of her favorite series, and you can definitely see that when you read this. And yeah, this was really enjoyable. The next book is The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. I just think that this book is stunning. I'll be honest, this was a cover buy. I just absolutely love the colors of this book. Are so just like, they pop out so much. And after reading about it, it seemed really interesting to me. It is of course a fantasy, and I really like the blurb. It says, a ruthless princess seeking to steal a throne, a powerful priestess seeking to save her family. Together they will set an empire ablaze. I think it sounds fantastic. I'm very excited to read this. I've heard a lot of really great things about it. The next book is The Blood Trials by N.E. Davenport. This is a mix of fantasy and sci-fi from what I understand. I'm very excited to read this one as well. Another book that I've heard good things about. And I don't know, after reading Project Hail Mary, I'm like, maybe I do like science fiction. It's generally a genre that I stay away from. Obviously, I think this book is very different from Project Hail Mary, but I think I might end up enjoying the sci-fi elements that are going to be in this book. So that's why I picked it up. I wanted to give it a shot. The next book is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is actually on my May TBR, so I will hopefully be reading it this month. I'm really excited. It is kind of like this darker gothic fantasy, and I also think that there is a romance kind of like subplot going on, but I believe our main character is sort of investigating some dark magic that has sort of taken over her village, so I think this is going to be really cool. I also recently picked up One for My Enemy. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. To my understanding, I believe that this was originally self-published by Olivia Blake, but then she was able to re-release it under Tor, and this book sounds really cool. I believe it's set in the 1920s, and it's about kind of like warring witching families in New York City, so kind of like that political family drama. I think it sounds really amazing, and this book is super stunning. The end pages have what I assume is one of the families that we're going to be focusing on. Really pretty, and it also has art as well. I feel like a lot of her books have art, which I really appreciate. I feel like every fantasy book should have art in it. All right, so the next set of books I'm going to show you all together because it is a complete series. I purchased the new covers of the Throne of Glass series. Throne of Glass is my favorite fantasy series. I love it so much, so I had to get these editions. So we have The Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, which I really love this one. We have the hawk up top, and then we also have the little wyvern at the bottom there. Then we have Queen of Shadows. I feel like this is probably my favorite cover of these new designs. This one gives me kind of like Dracula vibes. I think it's really cool. I love the red. Then Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn. And then if Queen of Shadows is not my favorite of these new covers, I'm gonna say Kingdom of Ash is, just because of this cover, of what it represents. I'm not gonna say it is spoilery, but I just think this is so beautiful, and I love the stag on the top there. I just feel like this is a super stunning cover, so definitely one one of my faves, if not my favorite, of these new covers. All right, the next book is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. So this I got on Pango Books because this edition is not in print anymore. This is the collector's first edition of Clockwork Princess, and it's kind of got, I don't really know if you can tell, but the kind of like gold light that's coming out of the book is this kind of like iridescent look, and there's also the gold rose on the spine. I read The Infernal Devices a couple months ago and changed my life. Amazing, gave me a whole new appreciation for Cassandra Clare, and Clockwork Princess was absolutely my favorite of the 3 books in the Infernal Devices series, and I just really wanted another edition, particularly because I do want to reread Clockwork Princess specifically, and I want to annotate it. And I just wanted to see if there was any like pretty editions of the series out there. There are a lot of special editions that are very expensive for resale prices now, but then I saw this on Pango and I was like, this is a really cool edition in pretty good quality, and these aren't in print anymore, which is kind of special. So I bought this. I definitely want to do a reread, and yeah, I just love this book so much. I also picked up recently The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is an epic high fantasy by John Gwynne. I also have Malice by him. I have not read it, but one of my booktube besties, Sahar, she read Malice last year, and I feel like it was one of her best books of the year, or if not, just like a very strong 5-star for her. She really, really loves it, and so I picked up that book, but then also this one, kind of at her recommendation, just because she spoke very highly of John Gwynne's writing. The next book is A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland. This is such a beautiful cover. I love it so much. Once again, another cover by, but this is like a political fantasy romance. It is male, and I'm just really excited to read this. Oh, also, I'm seeing that Tasha Suri, who wrote The Jasmine Throne, blurbed this. That's fantastic. So I'm very excited to pick this one up. This is also on my May TBR. I do plan to get to this. I'm really looking forward to the politics and then hopefully a very beautiful fantasy romance as well. And then I have Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna Maguire. I picked this up because I was doing a 24-hour readathon and I had no graphic novels or novellas, nothing, and I was like, I need to help myself out and have a short book. And so many people speak very highly of this series, and so I just went to Barnes and grabbed this one, and I have to say I really, really love this. I gave it 5 stars. It's a really cool fantasy series, kind of explores the idea of what happens when children in fairy tales, after they get back from their like magical adventure in another world, what is it like for them when they come back into our world? And it's kind of almost like this school to help them get back into society, and some of them do, some of them don't, some of them aren't able to come to terms with the fact that they aren't in that magical world anymore, and it's really cool and kind of like dark and a little bit grim. I thought it was very, very unique. The next book is Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. I am slowly working my way through the Shadowhunters books. I am nowhere near ready for this book, but this is also the first edition, collector's edition. It does have a reverse dust jacket as well, so I wanted to pick it up before this went out of print. I don't know how long it takes for it to go out of print, but I just decided to pick it up now, even though I am about like 12 books away from this one. But it's really pretty. I've heard that the Last Hours trilogy is really fantastic, and I'm excited to pick it up. The next book, a part of my book haul, is Disorientation by Elaine C.A. Chow. I think that this cover is perfection. I think it is so, so beautiful. And this book, it's a little bit different from anything I've ever read. It is a satire. I think it follows a girl in college and just kind of like college life and that experience and just her time there. But I've just heard like very interesting things about it, and it just really intrigued me. I have read one other satire before, and that was My Year of Rest and Relaxation, and I actually liked that book. I feel like that book is pretty polarizing, but I enjoyed myself. But I'm looking forward to reading this as well. The cover is just so, so beautiful, and I'm definitely down for a satire. I think as long as the writing works for me, I think that this could be a really strong book. The next book is The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. So this is kind of a continuation or spin-off of the Folk of the Air series by Holly Black, which is The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing. This book is set about 10 years later, and it follows one of the main character's younger sibling. And I was fairly disappointed by this book. The Folk of the Air series, it's one of my favorite fantasy series ever. I love it so much. I was very excited to go back to Elfame. I really love Holly Black's writing style, and that is still true from this book. She writes very, very beautifully, very whimsically, but this story just didn't really hit for me. I didn't really connect with the characters, and I just wasn't really moved by this one. So I'm very sad, but I love Holly Black, so I'm keeping this. This is the start of a duology. I am probably gonna pick up the next one just because I am curious to see what else she is going to do. But yeah, this book was overall like not the best, but it's Holly Black, so it was okay. Speaking of the Folk of the Air series, I have the Litjoy Crate editions of the Folk of the Air trilogy, and then also the little novella How the King of Elfame Learned to Hate stories. So I'll show these quickly. I'm not gonna go super in depth with them because I did in a vlog kind of show the inner pages and all of that, but these are beautiful. These are some of the most stunning books that I own. So we have have the Cruel Prince, which is really beautiful. There's also the gold sprayed edges and really stunning end pages as well. Then we have the Wicked King, which is my personal favorite in the series. Really beautiful. Little mermaid's tail on the back. And once again, super stunning end pages. Then the finale, the Queen of Nothing. Snakes on the back. Really fun and cute end pages here. And then How the King of Elfame Learned to Hate Stories, which I haven't read this yet. I need to do that. I want to reread the Folk of the Air series with these editions specifically because they do also have Holly Black's annotations in them, which I think would just like enhance the reading experience so much. But really excited to read this as well. This one doesn't have like special end pages, but still has artwork and is super beautiful. Okay, speaking of special editions, I have the most beautiful special edition dust jackets personally that I think I own, and they are the A Touch of Magic Designs and Dominique Wesson Throne of Glass special edition dust jackets. So I'm gonna show those. They are kind of spoilery, I would say. I'm not going to say who any of the characters are. I'm not gonna comment on what's happening on the dust jackets. So I'll just leave it at that. If you want to skip ahead, if you're like, I don't want to know a single thing about the Throne of Glass series, just skip ahead because there are characters on the front that kind of show certain relationships and things like that. But I will just show you guys what they look like and keep it very, very vague. So the first one is the Assassin's Blade, really beautiful kind of purple theme, which I really like. And then Throne of Glass with our main gal there. And then Crown of Midnight. Also love these two. And then Heir of Fire, which I think is my favorite, I have to say. I love the green so much. And then Queen of Shadows, another really beautiful one. Empire of Storms. Tower of Dawn, which is also just so stunning. I mean, all of these are stunning, but I just really love like the city back there. I think it's super pretty. And then another contender for my fave is going to be Kingdom of Ash. Just think, so gorgeous. The colors are super, super vibrant. Very happy to have this on my shelves. Just one of my favorite bookish items that I own for sure. Okay, moving right along. We've made some good headway. I still have so many books in front of me though. Oh my God. Okay, let's keep it going. Next, we have Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. This is a novella, part of the Crowns of Nyaxia universe, and this is one of my favorite series ever. And this novella is stunning, very dark, very beautiful, just a really awesome fantasy romance. Then I have a contemporary romance, The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. This is a really like cute, wholesome, charming, introvert, bookish, sort of like friends to lovers story, and I really, really loved this. All right, and then I do have more UK editions of Brandon Sanderson, as I said. So I have the UK editions of the Mistborn trilogy. So the first one is The Final Empire. I read this a couple months ago, absolutely loved it. Once again, a 5-star read, really, really amazing story. And then the second book is The Well of Ascension. I really want to get to this one soon. And then the finale of the Mistborn trilogy, which is The Hero of Ages. Okay, and the next book is a recent purchase and also a new release. This is a military fantasy romance, and it is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This book is everywhere. I feel like everyone on Bookstagram is reading this right now, which is super fun to see. I read this just a couple days ago and I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. We have dragons, we have like this kind of magical war school, and I think just like a really interesting political plot. So I really, really love this book. I'm so excited for the second book that is coming out in November. I'm glad we don't have to wait too long for the sequel, but this book is stunning and it has these sprayed edges with dragons on it, which I think is a really, really nice touch. All right, the next book is fairly random because I have not read this yet, but I've just been thinking about this book a lot lately. I don't know why, but channeling my girl Bella Swan, I picked up Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I really want to read this. I have heard good things about it. My friend Nadia at Books and Drafts, she also read this semi-recently and she really, really liked it. She said it was really beautiful. She gave it 5 stars. So it kind of has just been piquing my interest lately and I'm curious. I want to read this. I feel like this is a classic that is kind of polarizing. I've seen people say, oh my God, it's absolutely amazing, or oh my God, it's very boring. So I'll be curious to see where I lie, but I do think that there are some very beautiful quotes that have come out of this book, so I'm definitely intrigued. Another recent release that I picked up is The Thorns Remain by J.J.A. Harwood. This is a fantasy romance, and I think the cover is really stunning, and the tagline I just think is fantastic. A Fae Lord, a mortal woman, a dance with a terrible prince. Sounds wonderful. We have Fae, we have romance, we have a terrible prince. I'm there. That's perfect. All right, so this part of the video I'm going to be calling the Elsie Silver section because I have kind of just come to the conclusion Elsie Silver is one of my favorite romance authors of all time, for sure. She's got to be like in the top 3, top 5. I absolutely love her books, and so much so that I have multiple editions of them. So first of all, I purchased the discreet edition of her newest release, Powerless. This is the 3rd book in the Chestnut Springs series. It is so good. Oh my God, it is like childhood friends to lovers, and there's so much tension and angst in this book. So I bought this edition, and And I also decided to buy the People Covers edition of the Chestnut Springs series. I'm normally not one to like when people are on the cover, but I don't know what it is about this series. I love these covers. I think they're so beautiful. I absolutely love them. So the first one is Flawless. The second is Heartless, which this is the best book, in my opinion, that Elsie Silver has ever written, that I have read thus far, of course. This is literally so fantastic. It is like Grumpy Sunshine, and there's an age gap, and it's single dad, and our main character, Willa, I love her so much. She is so funny and sunshiny, but like I feel like in a way that is not super grating and annoying. I don't know. Elsie Silver writes the Sunshine character very well, and I'm just absolutely obsessed with their dynamic and tension. Talk about tension. Okay, this book has tension between these two from like the first chapter. It is insane. I think this book is amazing. It is one of my favorite romances ever. Absolutely my favorite in this series. And then I have another edition of Powerless, of course, and I just think this is really, really stunning. I think that my favorite in the series is Heartless, and then Powerless, and then Flawless is third. And then her next installment in this series is coming out in June, and that's called Reckless, and I'm very excited for that one. So because I love Elsie Silver's Chestnut Springs series so much, I decided to say, screw it, I'm gonna buy the entirety of her first series, which is the Gold Rush Ranch series, which is right here, which is like somewhat connected to that series. One of the main characters in this book, I believe it's the second one, her name is Violet. She is the sister of the brothers that we focus on for some of the Chestnut Springs books, and you know, they kind of just all know each other, so it's very, very cool. So the first book is Off to the Races. I was gifted this by one of my best friends, Hannah, at Hannah's Recent Reads. Thank you so much, Hannah. And I actually just read this book, and this book is kind of like enemies to lovers. It follows a horse trainer and kind of like this grumpy ranch owner, and just seeing the two of them fall in love. I think this is the second book. I probably shouldn't be saying that if I don't. No, let's take a look here. Yes, okay, this is the second book. This one follows Violet and Cole. The third book is called The Front Runner. I'm very excited for this one in particular. I know very little about it, but I know it follows Mira and Stefan. Mira is kind of like this ice princess character. I'm very excited for her. And then the love interest in this book is kind of the villain of the first book. So I think it's gonna be really interesting to see his redemption arc and just how we make him a desirable romance hero. So I think that this one is gonna be super, super good. And then the last book is A False Start, which I believe that this is Best Friend's brother. That is all I really know, but it's Elsie. I really like her writing, so I think I'm going to love this entire series. Another book that was gifted to me by Hannah was The Blood is Love by Karina Halley, and this is the second book in a duology. I think the first book is Black Sunshine. This is like kind of like a vampire paranormal romance. I read Black Sunshine a few months ago, and I thought it was really, really sweet and very romantic, and this I believe is just a continuation of those two characters' stories, so very excited to read this. Next, I have a contemporary romance by Chloe Leese, which is Two Wrongs Make a Right, and this is a reimagining of Much Ado About Nothing. I believe our two characters get set up on a blind date, and they are so frustrated with their two kind of separate friend groups, always trying to set them up. So they decide, you know what, let's fake date, let's be super obnoxious, let's annoy our friends, and then hopefully they will stop setting us up. But of course, they're gonna fall in love. So I've read one book by Chloe Leese, but it was so fantastic that I have bought a few of her books since then, and I'm excited to read this. All right, the next book is very iconic, I feel like, and I can't believe I haven't read it yet, but that is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is a contemporary romance. I believe it's kind of considered like a taboo romance. It is ex-boyfriend's dad, which sounds very interesting, but I'm very excited. I have heard honestly nothing but fantastic things, and that it's actually a very sweet romance, so I'm very much looking forward to this. Next up, I have Carly Fortune's recent release, which is Meet Me at the Lake. I actually read this just last week, I wanna say. I was a bit disappointed. I just found this book to be a little bit boring. I read her first book, Every Summer After, and I gave that 4 stars. That's a messy book, but I had a good time reading it, and I thought that the writing was really beautiful. Her writing was good in this book as well, but I just wasn't really taken with this story at all, or the characters, so unfortunately a little bit disappointing, but still a very stunning book nonetheless. Another recent purchase is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I've seen a lot of people talking about this book, and my interest has been piqued by it. Our main character, I believe she studies fairies, which I think is so cool, and I believe she works alongside this guy who I think they kind of have this like rivals to lovers, not quite enemies, but just sort of annoy each other. And Hannah read it recently, and she just said that it was really cute. So I'm excited. I want to pick this up. The part that has intrigued me the most about this is just having a main character who studies fairies. I think that is so cool. So I'm excited for this. All right, the next 3 books are part of a series, and these are no longer in print, which is why I wanted to buy them. I got these all from Pango Books for a pretty decent price, and I'm really, really excited that I have them. And that is the UK paperbacks of the ACOTAR series, but with the original covers. So these are no longer in print, and I just think that they're really, really cool. I absolutely love these spines so, so much, and I really wanted them. So I've kind of just been like on the hunt for them on like secondhand sites, and I was always just kind of waiting for like decently priced ones, and I was able to find them. So I have A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, which I just think is so beautiful, and then A Court of Wings and Ruin. Next up is The Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Leese. Obviously I purchased this last Christmas and I read it in December. It is truly the cutest, just like sweetest Christmas romance that I have ever read. It is enemies to lovers. It is kind of like The Hating Game meets You've Got Mail, and it's so adorable. I annotated it. I think that this is definitely going to be a book that I reread this coming December because it was just so sweet and so well done. It's also very short, but I feel like this author was able to achieve a believable enemies to lovers arc in a short amount of time. It was so good. I also have Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This was gifted to me by my friend Ami at Ami Reads. Thank you so much, Ami. This is a sports romance. I believe it's a rugby romance, and I have just seen so many glowing reviews of this book. I feel like everyone loves it, and I'm very excited to pick this up. The next book is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This edition in particular is stunning, and you could get this edition if you bought it, I believe, directly from Brandon Sanderson. So really beautiful. Really glad that I have this. It also has really stunning artwork inside. Like, look at that. Hello. I was gonna read this in May, but then I heard that you should probably finish the Mistborn trilogy before you pick this up. So I don't think I'm gonna be reading this in May. I don't want to be spoiled for anything, so I think I'm gonna wait, but this book is absolutely gorgeous and I cannot wait to read it. I also have Adelaide by Genevieve Wheeler. This is another recent release, and I did read this one last week once again. And this book follows a girl in her 20s. She is living in London, and it kind of just follows a tumultuous relationship that she has with Rory Hughes, and also kind of looks back at her past and some of the trauma that she has been through. A really just beautiful and painful book. I thought that the writing was absolutely stunning. I really loved this book. I gave it 4 stars, and I definitely recommend. The next book is A Curse of Blood and Stone by K.A. Tucker. This is the second book in the A Fate of Wrath and Flame series. It is an adult fantasy romance, and I'm very excited to read this. I read A Fate of Wrath and Flame last month, I want to say, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. It's not going to change my life. I gave it like a 3.5 star rating, but I was intrigued enough to keep going. So this is the second book. And then I have the second book in the Blood Gray series, which is Blood Solace by Bella Roth. I also read Blood Mercy last month or the month before, and it was so fantastic. It is an epic fantasy romance, and it was just so great. And these books are so beautiful. Look at that. That is so freaking stunning. I love this so much. I had to get a physical copy, and I'm excited to continue on with this series. Another book that was gifted to me by one of my best friends, Kara, at Kara's Bookshelf is The Name of the Wind. I'm so excited to read this. I heard that this book follows like the most powerful wizard in history in this world, and I just think that that sounds absolutely fantastic. This edition in particular, it's so beautiful. This is like an anniversary edition. I don't know what anniversary, but really beautiful. I'm very excited. I've heard excellent things about this book, and this is another that I want to love so badly, so I kind of keep putting off, but I think it's going to be really fantastic. All right, so the next 2 books I have to show you guys are The Ashes in the Star-Cursed King in paperback and The Ashes in the Star-Cursed King in hardcover. The thing with this is I had the hardcover of The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which is the first book in this series, but when these books were released, only the paperback was available, and I really wanted to physically read it, so I just went ahead and ordered the paperback and read it, and it was fantastic, amazing, stunning, a perfect fantasy romance. But then the hardcovers became available, so I needed to get it to match with my edition of The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So I also have this edition. I'm gonna keep both. I love this book so much, so I don't mind having multiple editions of my favorite series, obviously, as you can see by this haul. And these books are really beautiful. Carissa always has like really stunning naked books as well as dust jackets. So I love these books so much. All right, and then I have my Illumicrate editions of the Crescent City series. These are so beautiful. So the first one is House of Earth and Blood, really stunning end pages. Kind of, I think this is like the traditional UK spine, and then her signature on the back there. These books do come with page overlays. I'm not gonna show those though because they are spoilery. I did show them in my vlog where I went book shopping with Lachlan, so if you did want to see what the overlays look like, you can go watch that vlog, but I'm not gonna show them here. But also the naked books are just as stunning. Really happy to have these. And then I also have a House of Sky and Breath, another really beautiful edition, blue end pages, and a stunning naked book. So speaking of special editions of the Crescent City series, my Fairy Lou editions of Crescent City just got delivered 20 minutes before I sat down to film this. Perfect timing. So I'm gonna be opening these with you all. To be honest, I don't really remember what these look like. All right, I don't remember if these are spoilery. I will tell you guys if they are. So first thing on top is the little thank you card. These are stunning. Okay, so number 1, Fairy Lou, Sarah J Maas. There you can see the book. Oh my God. And it says Crescent City 1 and House of Earth and Blood. I'm not ready. I'll be so curious to see if I like these or the Illumicrate ones better. Okay, are we ready? So here is the little sleeve. Let's see if I can get it to come out. Oh my God. I think I prefer these ones to the Illumicrate. Are we joking? Look at that. End pages, so beautiful. Through love, all is possible, which is like the quote of the series. I am not okay. These are, holy cow. All right, oh my goodness. Okay, you guys, I can't handle. I completely forgot what these looked like. Wow. So this is the Naked Book edition. Really, really beautiful. It says through love, all is possible again, and it has super stunning end pages. This is not spoilery, these are just characters in the book. We have Bryce and Danica, our bestie queens, Hunt and Rune Dannon. Okay, these are so gorgeous. Prized possession level, honestly. All right, and then we have House of Sky and Breath. So let's pull this out here. Hello, are we okay? Look at that. Light it up. Amazing. This is so beautiful. Oh my God. I did not know that. There's a little river otter here. Are you kidding me? We have Hunt on the front. Light it up. So cool. End pages, Bryce and Hunt. So gorgeous. Oh my God. And then we have Therian. And then I'm going to guess Ethan Holstrom. That's who that is, right? Maybe. Who can say? A generally attractive man in a Sarah J. Maas book. Oh my God, so gorgeous. I love the Illumicrate editions too, don't get me wrong, because they have page overlays as well. But this is like, this is a work of art, honestly. All right, so we have made it to the end of this haul, you guys, but I have one more thing to unbox with you, and that is special edition dust jackets of the ACOTAR series. These are from A Million World Designs. I've had these for months and I haven't opened them. I don't have books to put them on yet, but let's open them together. Okay, so special edition dust jackets do tend to be spoilery. I'm not gonna say anything. Once again, I'm not gonna say anything about the characters. I'm just gonna give you kind of my general reactions to these dust jackets, but you've been warned. If you haven't read the ACOTAR series and you don't want to see characters and how they end up and all of that, you've been warned. Maybe skip ahead. So we have the first one, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Wow. Okay, here's the front. Very stunning. Once again, extremely vibrant. I love that. All right, this has to be A Court of Mist and Fury. So stunning. The back, this is kind of spoilery. So I'm just gonna say spoilers for this. So beautiful. Are we joking? I'm so happy. A Court of Wings and Ruin. So beautiful. I also love the foiling and really stunning inside. All right, and then we have the little novella, A Court of Frost and Starlight. Really beautiful. Wow, these are so good and super high quality. They're very thick. And there's the inside. All right, and very last, but certainly not least, is A Court of Silver Flames, which looks like that. So stunning. With my girl on the inside. All right, that is it. That is my big ass book haul that I had to show you guys. I had so much fun making this video. I am so tired, oh my gosh. But I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this point in the video, go ahead and leave the book stack emoji. Please make sure that you are following me on Instagram and Goodreads. They are always linked down below. I really appreciate that you watched this video. I hope that you are all having a fantastic day. I love you all so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one.